Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise to get you informed fast. All right, let's kick things off. Picture this. You've got a brilliant software engineer, just hired, really buzzing with potential. She walks in on her first day, all excited, ready to go. But uh-oh, instead of that warm welcome, the setup desk she finds, well, an empty desk, no computer, and her manager, totally swamped, barely looks up. That excitement she started with, it kind of fizzles by lunchtime, and, a month later, she's already back on LinkedIn, polishing that resume. Does that sound familiar? Maybe a bit too familiar? This isn't just some, nightmare scenario. It, or something like it, happens all the time. And the numbers are pretty stark. Get this. Only about 12% of employees feel their companies actually nail the onboarding process. 12%. That means a huge 88% are left feeling, confused, disconnected, maybe just underwhelmed right from the start. And that's not just a bad first impression. It's a massive missed opportunity for businesses, losing good people almost before they've even begun.
It's such a critical point because really the question isn't if onboarding matters anymore. We know it does. The real question is, are companies actually ready to, leverage it, to see it as the competitive advantage it really is? I mean, the companies that get this right, they aren't just being nice. They're seeing tangible results like 82% higher retention for new hires. And get this, 70% higher productivity from those new folks compared to companies with weak onboarding. That's huge. It hits the bottom line directly.
Right, that's the key difference, isn't it? It's not just a HR checklist item. It's strategic. And that's exactly why we're diving deep today. We want to unpack what makes onboarding really work, understand its long-term grip on retention, and look how it's changing. We're leaning heavily on insights from that HR Cloud article, why onboarding matters and affects retention in the long term. It really lays out the stakes. Okay, so let's dig in. Why does it go wrong so often? Let's start with the costs, maybe the hidden ones, when onboarding fails. The article brings up Sarah Chen, a VP of People Ops at a tech startup. She lived this. It was a real wake-up call for her company. They realized they were losing fantastic hires within the first 90 days, consistently. And the exit interviews, they kept hearing the same things. Expectations weren't clear. They didn't feel connected to the team. And honestly, just information overload. Right. A total fire hose. I suspect a lot of listeners might recognize that feeling from one side or the other.
Oh, absolutely. And for Sarah's company, the financial hit was just staggering. And it's not unique to them. The data shows about a third of new employees quit within just 6 months, a third. And almost 38%, so nearly 4 out of 10, are gone within the first year. So for Sarah's company, about 200 people, that translated to replacing roughly 75 employees every single year. Think about that churn. The constant recruiting, the resources drained, the impact on team morale, all stemming from that initial stumble.
75 people a year. And when you layer on the cost, the average onboarding cost is around, $4,700 per person. But for some roles, it can shoot up to $28,000. You multiply that by 75. Wow.
Yeah.
That's serious money walking out the door, money that could be going into, actual growth or innovation.
Exactly. And where did those costs actually come from? It's interesting how the article breaks it down. You've got the hard costs, maybe 30–40% of the total. That's recruiting fees, interview time, background checks, things you can easily put a number on. But the soft costs, they're the bigger chunk, like 60%. And these are trickier to measure, but maybe even more damaging. Things like lost productivity while the new person ramps up, the extra workload falling on the existing team, that slow erosion of morale when people see colleagues leaving constantly. It becomes this negative feedback loop. You lose the person you invested in, you burden your current team. Maybe they start looking. It's a cycle.
That paints a pretty grim picture. So, okay, how do we break that cycle? This seems to be where we need to fundamentally rethink what onboarding even is. For so long, it's been seen as day one, maybe the first week. Paperwork, policies, here's your desk, done. But the research is really clear now. Effective onboarding isn't an event, it's a journey. It stretches out way longer. In fact, companies apparently have about 44 days, just over 6 weeks. That's the window, the crucial period to really influence long-term retention. Think about that, 6 weeks. It's not forever, but it's this vital psychological window most companies are just missing.
That's right. It's a journey. And the successful companies, they structure this journey, often using what's called the 4 C's: compliance, clarification, culture, and connection. They break it down into phases because, different needs pop up at different times, right? So week 1, that's all about foundation setting. This is clarification in action. Immediate clarity on the role, the team, the basic tools. It's not about drowning them in info, just giving them enough to feel, grounded, capable. Then, month 1, relationship building. This is where connection and culture really come in, helping them understand who they work with, how things get done, where they fit. Get this right. And new hires are apparently 18 times more dedicated. 18 times. And finally, months 2 to 3, skill development and integration. Building their competence, their confidence, letting them start making real contributions, but still with support. Reinforcing that cultural fit.
18 times more dedication? That's incredible. And building on that structured journey, technology can really amplify things, can't it? Some of the stats are pretty eye-opening, like video onboarding. Increases information retention by 67%. Makes sense, it's more engaging than just reading a manual. And using automated onboarding systems. That apparently cuts data collection errors by 73%. So less chasing down missing forms, fewer frustrating admin hiccups right at the start.
Yeah, digital platforms are solving a few problems at once. They bring consistency, which is huge, right? Making sure everyone gets a similar baseline experience, regardless of their manager or department. They offer trackable milestones, so you actually know where people are in the process. And it makes the whole thing scalable as the company grows. Think about automated workflows. Instead of relying on a manager's memory, the system can, say, trigger sending welcome materials on day 1, maybe ping them for a check-in survey in Went 2, prompt a career chat in month 2. It adds this layer of precision and even personalization that's just really hard to do manually, especially at scale.
That sounds incredibly efficient. But it makes me wonder, with all this tech streamlining things, how do we make sure that human connection, that connection C, doesn't get lost? Does the tech free up managers to be better connectors, or does it risk making them kind of check out? Because the article points out manager satisfaction actually goes up by 20% when they get proper onboarding training themselves. That sounds like a win-win. Better managers, better experience for the new hire, less stress all around.
It's a really important point, hitting clarification and connection again. Managers are absolutely pivotal. But let's be honest, many aren't natural-born onboarders. They might be fantastic technically, but maybe no one ever actually taught them how to integrate someone effectively, how to build that team cohesion. And that's where structured programs are so valuable. They give managers a framework, like having weekly one-on-ones during that first month, and not just status updates, but real check-ins. How's it going? What challenges are you facing? What questions do you have? When new hires feel that support, that connection, remember that stat. 18 times more committed. It's just a massive difference in loyalty and wanting to stay just because they felt properly welcomed and integrated early on.
Right, beyond the manager and the process, there's that other crucial piece, cultural integration. That culture C, it feels like the one that's easiest to overlook, maybe. But it's so important for whether someone truly thrives. It's not just about the what we do list. It's the how we work together, the who we are, the why we're here.
Yeah.
It's understanding those unwritten rules, the informal networks, how stuff really gets done, fitting in.
And there's a great little anecdote in the source about this. A manufacturing company, they boosted their retention by 40%. 40. Just by adding coffee chats to their onboarding. Basically, new hires spent like 30 minutes chatting with employees from totally different departments, not their own team. Just learning about other roles, making wider connections. It shows how these simple human interactions can have a huge impact on feeling like you belong to the whole organization, not just your little corner.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Low tech, high impact. And this whole idea of integration and connection feels even more critical now, with remote and hybrid work being so common. That presents its own set of challenges, doesn't it? Remote onboarding can feel isolating. You miss those casual chats by the water cooler, those spontaneous moments.
Absolutely. And countering that means remote onboarding actually needs more structure, more intentionality, not less. You have to purposefully create those connection points. Companies are doing things like virtual coffee buddies, digital team lunches, more frequent video check-ins, and really being deliberate about using collaboration tools, not just throwing people into Slack and hoping for the best, making sure they know the norms, how to participate, and the results are there. Good automated remote onboarding can lead to a 65% jump in productivity for those hires, a 50% increase in eNPS scores, that's the Employee Net Promoter Score, how likely your team is to recommend working there, and wow, a 77% drop in turnover within the first 3 months. It shows you can build strong remote teams right from the start.
Those numbers are really compelling. Okay, shifting gears slightly, but still thinking proactively, let's talk pre-boarding. The article mentions that top companies are 53% more likely to do pre-boarding, yet something like 64% of new hires get no pre-boarding at all. That feels like a huge missed trick, doesn't it?
like leaving goodwill on the table.
It really is. Pre-boarding isn't just sending paperwork early. It's psychological. It's everything that happens between someone accepting the offer and their actual first day. The goal isn't to load them up with work. It's to build excitement, reduce those first day jitters, make them feel welcomed before they even start. Because if you build that connection, that anticipation, they arrive feeling more invested already. They're sort of stickier, even if day one isn't perfect. Like that software company example, sending a little survival kit with swag, a handwritten note, maybe early access to a non-critical Slack channel. That simple touch boosted their 90-day retention by 25%. It's about starting that connection early.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
And while these ideas, the 4Cs pre-boarding connection, seem universal, how they play out must vary a lot by industry, right? Like, healthcare onboarding must be incredibly focused on compliance and safety protocols, way beyond a typical office job.
Oh, for sure. Compliance in healthcare isn't just bureaucracy, it's patient safety critical. So very rigorous.
Or tech. Maybe it's about getting engineers up to speed super fast on complex systems. Very different from, say, manufacturing, where hands-on safety training is paramount from minute one.
Exactly. The core principles apply, but the tactics, the emphasis, the tools they have to be tailored. Financial services will have heavy regulatory components too. It's about adapting the framework.
And this framework thinking is even leading to something new, isn't it? This idea of re-onboarding.
Yes, the re-onboarding revolution, as the source calls it. It's this emerging idea that maybe all employees need a kind of reintroduction sometimes, not just new folks. Think about big changes, mergers, major restructuring, a big cultural shift. Instead of just assuming everyone will figure it out, companies are proactively re-onboarding their existing teams. And apparently, doing this can increase employee retention by 43%. It helps reaffirm purpose, clarify new directions, and just make sure everyone feels aligned during times of uncertainty.
Okay, so whether it's onboarding or re-onboarding, planning is key. And measuring success. You mentioned it's not just about retention rates. Smart companies are looking at other things, leading indicators.
Right. Things like, how quickly does someone reach full productivity? What are their satisfaction scores like after 90 days? How confident do their managers feel about their progress? Are people actually completing the onboarding tasks and training modules? Tracking these gives you a much earlier read on whether things are working.
And tracking that lets you fix things before they become big problems, I guess.
Precisely. If you see, say, lots of people struggling with one particular module, you can improve it. If managers consistently report feeling unsure, you can boost their training. It allows for that continuous improvement loop, tweaking the process based on real data, not just gut feel.
So putting it all together, building a great onboarding strategy, it sounds like it requires some real strategic thinking, not just ticking boxes. The article suggests mapping out that whole new hire journey, from offer to, say, day 90, identifying milestones, potential bumps in the road.
Yes, mapping it out is crucial, and asking some key strategic questions along the way, like, what does someone absolutely need to know right away versus what do they need to do? Which relationships are most vital for their early success? How can we use technology smartly to reduce the admin burden, but actually enhance the human experience? And importantly, what role can existing employees play? How can we enlist them in creating that welcoming culture? Thinking through these things is what builds a truly effective, sustainable program.
And looking ahead, what's next? Are there new innovations changing the game even further?
Well, technology continues to evolve. We're seeing things like AI potentially personalizing learning paths more dynamically, maybe virtual reality for really immersive training, especially for hands-on or dangerous tasks. Mobile platforms making access easier. Lots of possibilities.
Sounds exciting. But I guess the core message remains.
Absolutely. Technology is a powerful tool, but it's not the whole solution. The best programs will always blend that tech efficiency with real human connection. Use automation for the routine stuff, sure, but that frees up time for managers, for buddies, for colleagues to do the things tech can't do. Build relationships, share tacit knowledge, integrate someone into the culture. Tech enables the human touch, it doesn't replace it.
And that brings us back to that initial statistic. Only 52% of employees are satisfied with their onboarding. That's, well, it's not great, but looking at it differently, it's a huge opportunity, isn't it? For companies willing to invest, to think strategically about this journey, there's a real chance to stand out, build stronger teams, and keep great talent.
Wow. Okay. What a fascinating deep dive into onboarding today. We've really seen how getting this journey right from way before day one, right through those crucial first months, can make such a massive difference. Boosting retention, productivity, building that all-important cultural connection, using tech smartly. It really touches everything.
It really does. And maybe as a final thought for everyone listening, given how powerful we've seen pre-boarding and cultural integration can be, what's one small, simple, intentional thing you could do? Something before someone officially starts, or maybe something that connects them outside their immediate team early on? What small gesture might fundamentally shift how dedicated someone feels to your organization in the long run? Something to think about.